She's already missed. She was missing me.
Oh yeah. It was there when I started. Very principal day. Kurt and I were walking up. Aztecs in our Aztec clothes. Oh, this is Mr. Aztec here. You're still pretty involved. Bread. You're a month ago. I still do. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I see.
Welcome, everyone. Please like to stand and place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Sean Carville, would you like to lead us in the invocation? There is a microphone up here if you'd like to utilize it.
Probably.
Okay.
I guess we have to get serious a little bit here. Go bow your head so you can think clearly. You know, modern technology has given us the ability to see what's going on around the world every day. The misery, the suffering of others. That's what makes us so fortunately lucky to be Americans. We are very comfortable. The rest of the world is not. So we thank you, God, for that privilege, for the responsibility that we have to help those who cannot help themselves. I thank you. You're also thankful for the ability to serve as co-workers.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sean. Mr. Doug Frost.
Mr. Doug Frost is going to be leading you in God Bless America, and in case you've totally forgotten the lyrics, they're helpfully printed there. Here we go. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, white as gold. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, let me consult my phone here. Now, a welcome, and that is a welcome to everyone who is joining us today. We have a few guests in the house. Starting at Mr. Justin Frisco's table. Do you have a guest with us today?
I do. Fellow partner principal, Kurt Coney. Proud here at Stanton and San Diego Aztec alumni. So glad he's here today.
Not just any Aztec alumni. Past president of Aztec alumni. Major Aztec. Big capital A Aztec.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for that. We have Randy Morgan from the Navy SEAL Foundation. Family Foundation, and we're going to be doing a little presentation a little bit later, so we're looking forward to hearing from you at that point. Mr. Jay Jeffco, you have a guest there today?
Yeah, I'd like to meet Mike Mabita. Mike is relationship officer over at the San Diego Rescue Mission. I knew him in his, 14 years, whatever, the San Diego Padres, which started the store and all buying and everything, and now he's doing God's work, trying to help the homeless. And the programs are absolutely amazing. I have the pleasure of just starting one called Walk With Me, which is a one-on-one program with homeless individuals all through the rescue mission. We're trying to have him as a guest today.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Craig, good to see you. We're gonna have a presentation a little bit later from the Thoroughbred Club, and the Breeders' Cup is coming up, and we're really excited for Craig on that. At our table here was Bobby Buchenbeck from the Partners of Therapeutic Horsemanship in Lakeside, and we might just have a program a little bit later on about Bobby's work there out in Lakeside. Thank you for joining us today. And I think that's it for the welcomes. Now, at this point, I would like to bring up our chairman of the day, Mr. Justin Frisco, to introduce our program lead here, Mr. Craig Dado. Yeah. Do I get a big check? No check, no check, all right.
Well, hello, good afternoon, fellow audience. I'm glad to be here and see all these smiling faces. It sure beats that little block from the screen. Well, I know many of you had the opportunity to attend different events at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club and Del Mar Fairground. I know we're excited for an extended race season that goes into the fall, and then also the fact that we've got the Breeders' Cup coming back to San Diego, which I'm sure we'll learn more about. But Craig Dado is no stranger to our club. I think it was, I want to say 3 years ago, give or take a pre-COVID month or two. But the reality is that there's a huge economic impact to our community. It's a great facility. It's a unique partnership, I imagine, municipalities and private partnership. And I think Greg is going to bring us some information both about just normal race season and also about the upcoming Breeders' Cup. So I'm super excited and welcome to be here today.
I'm going to try to go without the microphone. Is that going to work?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Great. Good. Yeah, my name is Craig Dado. I've been in Del Mar now for 21 years. I had brown hair when I started. It's been a great run. I've seen a lot of different things while I've been there. I live in Del Mar right now. I have 3 kids. Life is good. I've been there for a number of years. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club actually is as an entity. A lot of people don't understand the distinction between the fairgrounds and Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. That a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about our story, starting with Bing Crosby back in 1937 and kind of how we got to where we are today. And then I do want to talk about the Breeders' Cup World Championships, a little bit about when we first hosted it back in 2017. And we'll talk about the 2021 Breeders' Cup, which is in 2 weeks from Friday. Not that I'm Chester County or anything, but that's reality. And then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. So, the Del Mar Thoroughbred, where am I pointing to? Over here.
No, back there.
Hey, I'm plugged in. I'm plugged in.
We figured you didn't have enough gray hair.
Yeah.
Can you forward them,
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I can see that.
all right, cool.
If you just say these, I'll.
Okay. All right, great. So the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club is the company I work for.
It works out.
We have a series of 20-year leases with the fairgrounds to run the horse racing. We have nothing to do with the fair. We have nothing to do with the gun shows, cat shows, or anything else they do the rest of the year. We just run the racing. So our original 20-year lease was in 1970. It is mandated by the state that we are organized as a for-profit corporation, but we are essentially non-for-profit. Every time we make, at the end of the year, after we pay ourselves and everything else, we give all the profits to the 22nd Ag District. It's
Great.
it's a very unique model of horse racing, but it works really well. Shareholders don't get any money, owners don't get any money. It all goes back to the fairgrounds, and all the money stays in San Diego when the fairgrounds. It does not go back to Sacramento. So, do we help finance the fair? Do we help finance everything? Yeah, that's okay. It works for us because when we do need a new track or new barns or a new grandstand, the money is there, the money stays. So it's really a great relationship. We have 3,500 employees. We deal with several unions. We have only 45 year-round employees, but when we get up and running here, we can put quite a few people. We have 2 seasons, 31-day summer season and a fall 16-day season. This fall season is fairly new. We've only done it for about 6 years now. However, it was the fall season that allowed us to have the Breeders' Cup, because the Breeders' Cup was always run in November. That's why we never had it before. We've got a fall season, then we made an application and a big push. Jay was helpful in that. Back in the day, we were trying to convince the Kentucky Blue Bloods to come on out to a track they'd never really been to before, and then it all worked out. So 2021, we are projected to write a check this year for $13.4 million to the 22nd Ag District, and that is in the form of a rent payment. Additionally, we wrote another $10 million check to the County of San Diego, local municipalities, charities. So about $23 million we will put into the city local community this year. Since our first lease in 1970, we're getting there. We're almost at $1 billion. In 2 years, we'll get there. So we are essentially a non-for-profit. We are just a management company. We don't have any assets. We come in, we run it, we pay the money to the 22nd, and we move on. So let's talk about our humble beginnings. This is our guy, Bing Crosby, welcoming the first guest back in 1937. He and his cronies from Warner Brothers Studios decided to open this little track. And this took place on July 3rd, 1937. 15,000 people showed up that day. And an interesting little tidbit was they had to delay the first race because the train from LA was late. And when the train came by there, like with the brigantine is now, they said, hooray, we can start the races. Because that was where the crowd came from. So it all started in 1937, but then Bing did what I consider the biggest marketing coup in horse racing history in 1938 to put the track on the map. And that was he attracted the great Seabiscuit to come run at Del Mar. Now, how did he do this? Well, the first thing he did was he went to Charles Howard, who was played in the movie by Jeff Bridges, and he put him on the board of directors. All right, so Charles Howard is on our board of directors. He's got Seabiscuit. You got to remember back at this time, Seabiscuit was on the cover of Time magazine. He was it. He was, everyone talked about Seabiscuit. He was the biggest thing out there. Bing went down to South America and bought himself a champion horse called Ligarodi. And he co-owned it with Charles Howard's son. And then he went to Charles and he said, hey, what do you say you come run Seabiscuit at Del Mar? He said, you don't have a race for us at Del Mar. He said, well, what if you match race against me and your son? We'll put up $25,000. I'll bet you an extra $15,000 on the side, and let's do it. Well, because Charles was on the board of directors and a good guy, he decided to do it. They put 112 pounds on Ligarodi and 130 pounds on Seabiscuit to make it fair. It was an amazing race. There's still video of it. The horses were head and head all the way around, and then turning for home. The horses came together. The jockeys bumped. They bumped. One of them hit the other guy. The jockeys got into a full-on fist fight on horseback, turning for home. Seabiscuit ends up winning by a nose, and the steward, two of the judges, look at it. How are we supposed to do this? What are we going to do? They ended up leaving Seabiscuit up to the winner, and Bing weekend in all these glory, had the entire thing live on NBC radio. So that's how Del Mar was really growing up. So fast forward a number of years later to 2000, and this is what was going on in horse racing. Attendance was down nationally. And the primary reason for that was back in the day, if you wanted to make a bet on horse racing, if you wanted to make a bet on anything in California, you had to go to the racetrack. Now you've had Indian casinos and satellite locations, state lotteries in Las Vegas and everything else. So of course attendance was down. It was a completely different game. It was predominantly an older male audience, you know, you had to trench coat, smoking a cigar, drinking coffee. That was the reality of a racetrack patron. And the business model was heavily reliant on wagering revenue. That was basically everything. And the problem with that model is the number of new thoroughbred foals, the horses that race, was dropping every year. And there's a clear correlation between the amount of horses in a race and the amount of money that's bet on them. In other words, a 10-horse race is going to handle more money than a 6-horse race. Very clear. Well, if you're completely reliant on gaming revenues, and there's a correlation between number of horses and your horse population is dropping, this is a horrible business model. So Del Mar at this point was one of the best tracks in the country. But you know, that's when I arrived in 2000, 2001, and I went to Joe Harper, our president, and said, Joe, we got to shake it up. We got to take a chance. And he said, well, all right, well, what do we do? So we sat down and looked at our actions. We have a short season, so supply and demand is in check. We're in the middle of the summer, perfect for tourists, perfect for people wanting to get out. Located right on the beach, as you guys know, and we have this beautiful modern facility. Now, the reason we have a beautiful modern facility is because all the money we make is on track. And then finally, this is the key here. We have an active San Diego community. What does that mean? That means we all know we lead the league in gym memberships, plastic surgery. People in San Diego want to look good, and they do look good, and they want to show it off. So we said, let's change it up. Let's play to what people call FOMO, fear of missing out. Let's make this a happening place. So the strategies were, we're going to try to attract a younger and a more female fan base. We're going to diversify the entertainment experience, so it's not just about horse racing. We're going to try to make Del Mar the place to be in the summer, and then finally, don't laugh, we're going to try to make a racetrack sexy. Well, this was something that nobody had ever contemplated ever. We decided, let's give it a shot. So we decided that we would start with our new brand that we came up with, which was called Cool as Ever. And this basically says, you know, this is not your grandfather's racetrack. This is a cool place to be. But the as ever part is kind of the tip of the hat to make proud. So came up with a rule, and if you look back to start with advertising, advertising for horse racing in Del Mar back in these days was all the same. Beautiful horses running in slow motion, fake actors cheering. It was playing for an older crowd. We wanted to go for a younger, different crowd, so that strategy was not going to work. And I actually made a rule. I said, we are not going to do any jockey commercials with jockey jokes, because that is not on brand for us. We need to be cool. We need to be cool as ever. Everything needs to fit this brand. So we started first bringing in beautiful women into our ad. And this was an ad, like I want to say, in 2003. This was our first track ad. Very respectful, but totally going after a different crowd. We want women to think, hey, it's okay if women go to the track on their own. We want men to think, hey, if you're going to go to the track, you might meet some women. So this was how we started off. It went really well. We got a little more liberal with it. And a couple years later, we went with this. Del Mar could get a little hot this time of year. Wasn't sure how that was going to be received. Of course, we had some haters, but for the most part, numbers were through the roof. We started getting this demographic we wanted. And then, remember my jockey rule? Well, then, the most beautiful jockey in the history of horse racing, a woman by the name of Chantal Sutherland from Canada, decides that she wants to be a jockey at Del Mar. She then goes out and does a new pictorial in Vanity Fair. Shot by Bo Derek. You didn't see anything, but you know, she was naked. You couldn't see anything. It was Vanity Fair. And all of a sudden, she's coming to Del Mar. So what do you do with this? Well, I had to rethink my jockey rule, but I had to do, and we took it one step further, and we went with this. So, you know, yes, she's a jockey, but she's beautiful. This was our billboard on the 5 South, you know, with the boots sticking over. So this was the new advertising push for us. We're going to be young, we're going to be cool, we're going to be hip, we're going to appeal to women. But it's not just about advertising. We changed all the events. Prior to this, the events events at Del Mar were Thermos giveaway day or retired jockey day. No, that's not on brand. So as you guys probably know, we started our 4 o'clock Friday concert. We started doing reggae fests and microbrew fests and hat contests and food truck festivals, trying to market to a younger crowd. So when you do that, we said, look, we need to get better publicity. We can't just be on the sports page. So we paid outside publicity companies who knew nothing about horse racing. I didn't want them to know anything about horse racing. Get us in Vanity Fair, get us in Playboy, get us in Maxim, get us into these other publications, and they did. Cool entertainment, you know, if there's 30 minutes between every race, people get bored. So we would have kids do hippity hop derbies. We started something called Sing with Bing, where we pull somebody out of the audience and make them sing our theme song. Some people did great, some people it was a train wreck. But this was about the time when American Idol was starting up. You remember those auditions for American Idol? Some people are really horrible. That's okay. It's entertaining. So we still do that today. Every day we have people come and sing our song. Specialty drinks. You can't come to Del Mar unless you have a Del Margarita, right? We're trying to diversify our revenue sources. So we really started pushing the alcohol. And as you can imagine, the demographics changed almost immediately. Overnight, we became the youngest racetrack in the country. 70% of our crowd under the age of 50. And we became by far the most female. 40% female. I would guess most racetracks, I don't have access to their research, but are probably 20%. So it worked. And when you get the cool demographics, you start to get the cool celebrities. The phone's ringing all the time. Marshall Falk wants to come. Steve Kerr wants to come. Drew Brees wants to come. All the celebrities came out of nowhere. And then we became a cool filming location. Look at all the shows. The Kardashians did a whole episode. Entourage filmed a whole episode. Bachelor, Dancing with the Stars, Chelsea. We became the cool place to shoot because we had these cool demographics. So, and then the cool sponsor money followed. It's not just the coffee companies and Buicks, it's actually people who have the cool hip ways. So happy to say that our revenues and our attendance and everything went through the roof, and it turned out to be a great strategy for us. So that's how Del Mar kind of got to be cool as ever. Now, we start a fall meet, we're eligible to host the Breeders' Cup, and we had to go to Kentucky and convince them to take a shot at us. Or, you know, from a capacity standpoint, Del Mar is a little smaller than Churchill Downs and some of these big tracks, so they were very reluctant. But what they loved about us was, you know, they run in November, they could stow in Kentucky. We told them basically it's almost guaranteed, it's going to be 72 and clear, come on out. So in 2017, we were able to get the Breeders' Cup championship. And it was a great feather in our cap. So let me tell you a little bit about the Breeders' Cup. The Breeders' Cup started in 1984. And it's 14 different races. The best analogy I can give you that it's to me most like the Olympics. You have horses from 12 different countries. You have champions from Ireland and Italy and Saudi Arabia and Australia and Japan. And then you have the horses from different regions within the United States. You have the New York champion, Florida champion, the Kentucky champion, the Illinois champion, and they all come together to see who's best. And basically attract 14 different events. There's boy races, there's girl races, there's short races, there's long races, there's grass races, there's dirt races, there's some for 2-year-old going. Yeah, I don't know what. It's 14 races, and they pay $30 million in person. So you can imagine the type of people who own these horses. These horses are all worth millions of dollars. Palomar had one of their biggest days ever in 2017, with people flying private. And the whole thing is broadcast for 10 hours on NBC. 1 hour and a half on NBC Sports, the big NBC regular, and then the rest on NBC Sports. But it's like a infomercial for San Diego. It's just amazing. So in 17, we had 70,000 people, 70,500 people attend, $171 million wagered. And this was the cool thing right here. Only 25% of the attendees were from Southern California. The world came here. And restaurants were packed. Everybody, when I went and talked to the restaurant owners around Del Mar afterwards, said, what is your biggest regret? What did you do wrong? What would you change? They said, we ran out of our premium wine. People fly private, they have $1 million horses, they're not buying cheap wine. So that was pretty cool. So look at this number, $97 million in economic impact from the 2 days of race. Now, one of the things we do, and I'm going to get to in the next slide, is, and this is 2021, is we put together a Breeders' Cup Festival. And that's parties, dinners, golf tournament all week long to try to get the visitors not to come for 3 nights, but 1 don't you come by? It's probably freezing where you live. It's beautiful here. Come on out. Enjoy San Diego. So this year, this is a misprint. I apologize. It's 5th and 6th. My bad. So it's 2 weeks from this Friday. The Breeders' Cup Festival is going to be a week of great activities. The bad news this year is there still are some effects of COVID. There's a European travel ban. So the horses can come from Europe, the trainers can come from Europe, the owners can come from Europe, the pure fans. So that 25% local is going to be a lot bigger this year, unfortunately. The other thing is, in 17, we were sold out months before. We still have a few tickets left. We will sell out, but we just don't have the demand because of COVID that we did in 2017. In a couple of rooms in the upstairs area, we are mandating either a vaccination or a negative test. If you're vaccinated, we recommend you wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, you're mandated to wear a mask, although we have no way of checking. So whatever people do, they do. But the number one thing that this is all about this year, back to our number one objective is to get it back. And want to get on this train. Too political probably to have it more than every 4 years, because they've got Kentucky, they got to go to Churchill, they got to go to Keeneland, they got to go to Santa Anita. But I can tell you that we were the most profitable Breeders' Cup they ever had in 17, despite the fact we have this little grandstand. $171 million were bet in 17. The record is $174 million, and I think we beat it. So with that, any questions about Del Mar or Breeders' Cup or anything else?
Was there any risk of losing it in 21? Like, was there any talk of it going to another city or?
No, but so in 20 they ran it with no fans because of COVID at Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky. So they love it there for all the, not only the weather, but we have hotels, we have restaurants, we have beach, we've got every other host city. So they love it here. The only hesitation was COVID, but they would still run it here, but maybe just for people in so far, it looks like we're going to have about 25 to 30,000. We're going to cap it. We could do more, but that's what we're going to cap.
Okay. So you mentioned being kind of started in the 30s, and in the 70s. That's when
The Del Mar Thoroughbred Club.
Thoroughbred. So what kind of existed?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that. Is about 10 years in, and with the money, went and bought the Pittsburgh Pirates. He lost a lot of money. But yeah, it was various, Bing controlled it for many years and then sold it. And then finally, the 20-year lease with the state of California.
Craig, a year from November, there'll be a ballot measure legalizing sports gambling in California. I know that Del Mar, along with some of the Native American casinos, have been selected for that. It looks like it'll pass. Can you kind of show us, sure, explain to us, will you be open every night there's a sporting event? Will that be at the facility itself? Will there be an off track?
Sure, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. So to back up big picture, 3 years ago, the Supreme Court passed a bill saying federally that sports wagering is legal. Now, they did leave it up to every state to decide if they want it. 3 years later, it's almost 30 states are legal. California is a little slow. We're going to vote on it next November. There is something on the ballot now that says that all the state Indian casinos and the 4 racetracks in the state will be able to have bricks and mortar facilities. We are in discussions right now with one of the big players. You see their commercials every Sunday. You see a bunch of commercials every Sunday. I can't talk about it yet, but we will partner with one of the big bet takers, and it's extremely lucrative. And the money that we get will go half to the 22nd Ag District, half into person to back more and better horses. The plan is that where the satellite facility is currently called Surfside, that will be a sports wagering venue, and it will be open, I believe, every day. However, when we are racing live for the horse racing facility, we will have a place at the racetrack. Now, the big question is, when are you able to bet on your phone? And the Indians right now only want bricks and mortar. They don't want on the phone because they want foot traffic. I think they'll change their mind on that. If you look at the states where they're doing a good job online, primarily in New Jersey, money's huge. So I think eventually we will end up being mobile. But right now, the plan is to start bricks and mortar.
Yeah, you just announced $1 billion in wagers for you.
Am I crazy? Yeah. And, you know, if you look at where the most money is spent in horse racing, it's California. So we will kill it as a state when we finally do. And it will be very lucrative for Del Mar and which will, you know, funnel down to the second.
You just mentioned that you gave before the safety record.
Oh, yeah. So as you guys probably know, because it was so widely publicized, we had a problem about 4 years ago. We had a lot of horses that were dying. It's something that wasn't new. It's something that's been a part of horse racing forever, but our culture really didn't care. And back in those days, horses were considered livestock and not really pets. And that's changed. And I think that's probably a good thing. So when we had a really bad year, 4 years ago, and lost a number of horses, we got called on the carpet. And it really hurt our attendance badly. And we went out and we made a ton of changes. We added more vets. So now a horse that runs at Del Mar gets inspected 5 times on race day before he goes to the gate. Because we found that when a horse does break his leg or something in race, there's almost always a food. So it's on the vets to make sure these horses are 100% sound. We changed the drug rules considerably. We changed the way we do protocols for workouts. We changed so many things, but the most important thing that's led to this is the trainers have bought into it. The culture has changed. Trainers that would have started a horse 10 years ago that was looking would not even consider it. So I'm proud to say that 3 years ago, the whole year, both seasons combined, 2,000 horses on the ground, we lost 3 horses. Last year we lost 0, and then this year we lost 1. So we've been named for the last 3 years the safest racetrack in the country. And we need to look at a softball.
Greg, we enjoy this going to the race, but one of the greatest frustrations is trying to get off the freeway to get in.
Yeah.
And is there any discussion about easing that problem or putting more off and on ramps to the freeway?
Well, the problem is actually more severe for the fair. On a given day, for the fair will have 100,000 people on a given day. A good day for us is 35,000. So they are doing everything they can. We're just tenants. They're talking about moving the train station, stop closer so people can take the train. Right now you get off Solana Beach and we have the double-decker bus bring you over. But yeah, that's something that the fairgrounds is really looking into and we'll follow their lead. I don't know about freeway off ramps and exits. I don't know, but it's true. There's only one way in and one way out. It's tough. I feel your pain.
Speaking of transportation, have you been approached by anybody from the state or federal government about the rerouting of the rail line around Del Mar to avoid the cliffs?
Oh, I'm with that.
Oh, you don't, I'll talk to you. Well, basically the train tracks through Del Mar are like going to fall in the ocean very soon. They're going to have to move it. They're going to have to move it well inland. It's going to probably be tunneled under the Del Mar bluffs where I-5 is and then come out the other side. That's kind of right where your facility is, if I recollect.
How soon? What's the timeline?
Well, I'm never going to ride the train from the downtown station north ever again. But, you know, all it takes is money. 10 years. 10 years.
Anything else? I appreciate it.
That was
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. Judith, Craig, I wanted to show you, that's on the right of Bob Baffert there, that's my wife, so I wanted to thank you very much. She actually enjoys going to the track. Yeah. I think Bob enjoys it as well. We have a ton of birthdays this month. And so I want to recognize all our birthdays. We have Mr. Gordon Warner on the first. So how was it, Gordon? Oh, he's reaching for his wallet. Okay, he knows the score. We have Miss Susan Gay. So, John Rush, Mr. Big Shaw, Kay Jeffco, Monica Ball, and Gary Knight on the 26th. So with that said, Gordon, as you're the first one on the list, you want to make a.
I actually have exact change to hit the 66 mark, so I'll route 66 and open up the bidding community.
You're awesome. You're awesome. Why don't we do a rounding, all encompassing birthday? We'll try not to trail all the names together, but join me in singing happy birthday to these fine folks.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
What's next on the agenda here? Oh, yeah, fine. So I guess that's kind of apropos after we did our little birthday piece. If anybody who's not wearing a pin, yes, it's excluded.
We're not gonna go to Jeffco for some dough.
We're
not gonna go to Jeffco.
As our preeminent fundraiser, I like your lead, Mr. Chuck K. or my name. Mr. J. Jeffco.
Birthday too? I already forgot. Just to be clear, the only reason I jumped in, I was going to go one-on-one on birthday, I was for Jeff, like, oh, 3 times.
I'm gonna do the simple tradition thing. We're starting the El Centro Club. So I started there in 1976. So if you can figure out what 76 is to now, how many years is that?
More than we care.
And that will be my. Yeah. I love you. I will pay a fine of $100.
Any other signs out there for birthdays?
I mailed my check. I
Susan
received
did.
it, thank you very much.
You did mail it.
And I
to
gave
me.
it to
That's
Phil.
very efficient of you. Thank you very much.
I put a stamp on it. No, I
Right here.
got it, I
I got
got
it.
it for it.
I got it.
I love it. Susan, pre-K birthday.
I'll take a fine for Mr. Sean McCardle for
Getting out of
taking
bar.
a phone call during the presentation, but he is reaching for his wallet.
How much am I getting? I told you to give me your wallet. In his defense, his daughter just got him this phone and he doesn't really know how to operate it.
That's great. Okay, folks, let's move.
Okay, wait, hold on, sorry.
Yeah, this is my favorite part. This is Mr. Bill Gibbs. For those of you who don't know, longtime Kiwanian, 106 years old. Founding father here in Seattle, and of course, Montgomery Field, Gibbs Field is named in his honor. My father, Bruce, had his plane up at Montgomery Field in Gibbs area, little Beechcraft Bonanza. And Bill always had a great thing to say at every meeting and always gave a buck. So this is everyone's opportunity to share some good news and maybe not so good. Okay.
I got $20. I just want to recognize the man with the mustache. I think it's almost as good as mine. Right towards that. I'm good.
Did you see Mike's trying to join your club?
I actually.
Keep working on it.
I'm really going to be scared today that I look in the mirror and then.
But, all from the, stand up because I am truly grateful. The first, the volunteer takes me to the hospital
Yeah, and if anyone ever needs a ride.
and bring me home. That is the one in spirit. I think we should all put it down.
Funny story about that, I didn't realize I'm very sensitive to blood and to hospitals and everything, so I thought it was just gonna be a very easy thing, and Sean came out and I had to go get him, and I almost fainted in the hospital. But I'm happy to drop off with anybody if you ever need help.
Good to see you all.
Oh, that's it.
All right.
No words of wisdom?
No.
This is just fun. This month I'm taking a few vacations. I was in Big Sur camping for a week and I'm on my way to Montana, so.
Very
Woohoo.
Yeah. Miss y'all.
Outdoorsy.
Thank you.
And I'll pay up. I recently received, the most valuable pin in all of Kiwanis, the one that says "Pass" on it. I am no longer a trustee, but I did get a new badge. I'm the district parliamentarian, so I still get to travel. I get reimbursed.
There you go.
Money for that.
Oh. $1 for the, I forgot my little, pin, and I got $10 to celebrate. My son and I just decided to go to Vegas, see the Raiders. I'm not a huge football fan, but it seemed like a really fun trip, so we got tickets last night to go see the Raiders. So they play with the Bengals on the 21st, and, it'd be fun.
Don't get in trouble, there's a jail there.
And you would know that because.
I have business out there.
Thank you. Can I drop this off?
Thank you very much, Chuck. Well, it's official. JHF code is a continuing Hickson Fellow honor. It's actually the Diamond Executive Fellow, and we have a pin to commemorate that. It says number 2 on it. So I'm sure it's more than 2. But yeah, congratulations. Yeah, for those of you who weren't at the awards and recognition luncheon, we had, there was some really kind words that were shared, and they received wonderful honor.
And you can go on our website and watch the whole video of it in case you missed it.
Many of you know we have our community impact grants every year, and our wonderful Kiwanis Foundation donates to several worthy causes in the San Diego community. One of those, Steele Family Foundation, was the recipient. And we have Captain Randy Morgan here today. And Captain Randy, if you'd like to come up, I'd like to get a picture with you and a check. And we're going to hear a few words. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get one of us.
All right. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, just a quick thing. First, I am growing my mustache out. I try to get in rule. I'm going to be whiter for Thanksgiving.
Oh, great.
October.
Wow.
I'm trying to get my little thing. But before we start, you hear a lot about the sea. And I want to, so I want you to kind of go back to about 1990. Desert Storm. And if you remember Desert Storm, great leader that took charge of that was Colin Powell, who just passed. But if you remember, it was the largest deployment of Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines ever. So put yourself on a transport carrier that's left San Diego. It has SEALs on it, has Marines on it, has Army on it. And one of the challenges of being a leader, in that group is these guys are transiting for 19 days going to a combat zone. You've got to get them mentally prepared, but there's a lot of, what do I do for 19 days? So as we're crossing the Indian Ocean, put yourself on this ship, in the middle of the night, the beautiful bioluminescence of the Indian Ocean, which leads this trail. And all of a sudden, in the back of the ship, these explosions. This bioluminescence is going up in the air. And obviously the ship, there's a different dude, goes to a security alert, what's going on, am I being attacked or anything like that? And they go back there, and all of a sudden they see a whole bunch of, on the fantail of the ship, a bunch of hand grenades. So that morning, the captain of the ship is they're very upset, and he goes to his Marines detachment, he goes to his Army detachment, he goes to his SEAL detachment. He says, I know you all may have these fragmentary hand grenades. I want you to go inventory your hand grenades, come back and report back. I want to find out who did this. So they all go off and story on. Muster back in front of them. The Army major stands there high and tight and says, sir, we started this cruise with 312 hand grenades, and we still have 212. The Marine, high and tight, stands up there and says, sir, we started this cruise with 224 hand grenades, and we still have 220. And he comes over to the Navy SEAL officer who's there with his senior enlisted and says, sir, we started this cruise with a shitload of hand grenades, and we still have a shitload of hand grenades. So again, it's great being here. The Navy SEAL community is big. This is the home, Coronado is the home of Navy SEAL. And I'm senior on the board of the SEAL Family Foundation. Family and kid focused, working all the time. And I think Del Mar, we've hosted numerous events at the Del Mar Track Club that families and kids can come out and enjoy all the activities. And it's a first class event. Thank you. That's kind of things the foundation. In San Diego, you have the headquarters for the Navy SEAL Command, the Two-Star Admiral, Navy Special Warfare Command. He reports directly to the Chief of Naval Operations. We are the soft component, Special Operations component of the Navy. And he also reports to a 4-star general in Tampa, SOCOM, United States Special Operations Command. And we are the maritime component supporting the Special Operations Command. A force of over 12,000 people is spread mostly Virginia Beach here. In San Diego, you have the Navy Special Worker Center, over 1,000 people assigned, and that is the engine that continues to feed SEAL operators, special warfare combat crewmen, intelligence specialists, logistics specialists that support special operations worldwide. We have Spec Group 1 that has SEAL Team 1, 3, 5, and 7. But a SEAL team consumes up to 6 to 8 platoons. You have special boat teams, 2 of them out here, and we have a special reconnaissance team, which takes care of very classified capabilities, including network intrusion, running UAVs, and instead of 4 people sitting on a mountaintop watching the port activity and things, the special reconnaissance team might have some people sitting supporting the country team sitting in a hotel room observing some high value target. And so it's a broad force. These forces combine together every 6 months and they deploy wherever our nation needs them. As you know, post 9/11, we were in Afghanistan and Iraq. I was in both areas for many years. And those kinetic operations are still continuing in Yemen. We have special operations that's still in 78 countries worldwide. And again, being the force of choice and that small footprint, senior, mature leader. My point is that whole demand of special operations, where's my husband going? Where's my wife going? As she supports the intel support of that, is a very demanding on those families. And that's where I'm proud to be a part of the SEAL Family Foundation. We work directly with those commanders and say, where are your gaps? Where can we work with our donor base and provide services, programs that support? Some of the major programs are a backing of us with SEAL Kids. SEAL Kids is specifically provides tutoring, professional services for families that have what the Navy calls special needs, autism, ADHD, things where they need special schooling. And this is above and beyond what TRICARE and your Department of Defense schools can come in and support or your public school. And I didn't know that, but it's very expensive. And this has been a program that's grown competitively as we put in COVID. Another big program is we go out there and support kids events, whether it's a Halloween party. This last weekend, I was out at Camp Indian Hills and using the funds that you're donating today in the San Diego focus. We hosted over 140 families, including 500 kids. And this was a Saturday morning to a Sunday zip lining, mountain biking, meals, campfire songs, and something that the family could take a break back and get back into that. 50% of our audience was families of their husband was deployed. And it's very interesting how these young kids react to their father that's been deployed in the last 6 years, 6, 7 times. Missing that link of family. And they also provide resilience for the Navy spouses. We provide sisterhood events where we know when the redeployment comes back, we see, they have a lot of fear overseas. We've had over 180 deaths since 9/11 in the SEAL community, killed in action. There were 400 wounded. Their husbands come back, and those physical wounds are not the same. But as we know in those extensive ops, those unseen wounds. And so we provide working with, we're not using the standard Navy counselor or the person professional counselors. And that, to make that an appealing event, the SEAL Family Foundation realizes that you kind of have to do it at a nicer place, a spa getaway, and kind of mix that in and involve. So those are a lot of the major programs, and then the other one is a group. So again, my heart, every time I go out to an event, we hear thank you for your 30-year services, but I'd like to reach out and thank you for being part of our organization and supporting the SEAL.
Let's recap. And thanks again, Captain Morgan. Wow, who is that guy on all those photos? Really?
I'm Bernie.
So yeah, Jay, who's your character again that day? Champ. That was incredible. Of course, we brought back the Anchorman theme for our last luncheon for the awards, and among Jay was a recipient, Glenn was a recipient, and Brian. So that was a great time had by all at that recent recognition game. I participated. I heard that there was a call for crutches, and we got out and we gave Rady's Children's Hospital some crutches. That's my daughter McKenna here and her friend Taylor. So we went over to the Rady's Children's Foundation and donated those, and then got to serve some meals. It was incredible. The operation they've got going on right now at the Father Joe's Villages as far as meal prep and the like. That was the day that it rained, so there was a lot more individuals, and I'm really proud to go there and help out. That's my wife Christine in the middle, for those of you. Was that all about Mike Boland?
You've been moving and shaking, like, yeah.
Well, we are talking, okay, this was your deal. So
Yeah, so,
Oakland
the Concord Club loves our virtual trivia so much, that they have me do it once a month. And with the Oakland Club now and a couple other clubs, so if you're bored on the first Wednesday, Doug played. Unfortunately, his team did not win the last round, but we will have another virtual trivia night on November
Do
3rd.
we have some intellectual property issue here? Because I think we need some licensing fees or something going on. Dave, what do you think? Concord is definitely getting some great benefits.
drive, we just had it last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago for the Key Clubs. They all rallied together to try and raise funds for their Spirit Rally, which is next month on the 13th. So our San Diego High School is alive and well. I delivered them a bag full of recyclables that all have to be beer cans, but at least they got some recyclables to contribute. And we had our
Oktoberfest. I mean, what's not to love about Oktoberfest at Hyperhop? Great time. We had, what, about 10 individuals show up. Tipped back a few different sized pints of brewski. Some amber, some blonde, some pilsner.
Tom Bauer was there with us.
Tom Bauer never misses a social, but yet I never see him. Yes, you too can be a Kiwani and never attend a lunch, but you have to attend. And upcoming events. Want to take us through the upcoming events, Bree?
Well, I hear we have a foursome playing on Friday for Home of Guiding Hands. Justin's playing too, right?
Yeah.
And Kraus. So
Justin's been trying to get me out to play golf, I think, for what, 3 years or something.
Yeah.
So I finally committed. I am going to be there. It'll be a good time.
on Saturday, they're doing the Miracle Mile quarters at Rosemont. So every year the kids come out and design art with quarters. So if you want to go and support,
And then they get donated to Rady.
and then all the proceeds go to Rady Children's. There is a specific club called Miracle Mile Quarters that basically does this event, and it's normally in the spring, but they're doing it now in the fall and the spring. So that's this Saturday at the Rosemont Center.
So if we want to participate, we log in, we
You just show
register,
up.
or you just show up
Yeah.
with what, a roll recorder?
You don't even need to, yeah.
That'd be nice.
But yeah,
Letters are really hard to come by.
they said there's a shortage.
We order them in advance.
Yeah, they got plastic quarters to use for this Saturday, so.
So we got our club and foundation meetings on October 27th, until further notice, it will be on Zoom. And we've got a lot of great info to share. I Love a Clean San Diego will be our next luncheon speaker, November 2nd. I understand that Admiral Henry is no longer the VP, so we're going to hear from a new leader there. And then we have a trivia night on November 3rd. Any theme oriented to that? Just all different games?
60s.
Good.
Excellent. I think, Captain, that look might work. Just kind of put the paisley shirt on, and either white or for 60s, that's 1860s.
I'm shading, I'm clean. Beach cleanup, November 13th. Yes, is Claire gonna make an appearance?
Yeah, she organized
We
it.
got Claire and Ryan are gonna get us all out there for Hawaii Shores. Please come out. It's always a good time. We're gonna pick up, trash on the beach. I know my daughter and my son will be there, and it'd be great to have everybody out there in support. Whoa, what's not to like about December 7th with Mr. Ted Light and his reflections. So we're gonna have a TED Talk of sorts on December 7th. We're expecting a huge blowout attendance. So get everybody excited. Who's not excited to hear Ted? I know I am. I've never met him in person, so that'll be a good time. And finally, follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
Which, in case you didn't know, we do have an app where you can look at all our events and buy tickets and see what you've registered for. So it's Wild Apricot. If you are interested in downloading it, there is an app.
Okay. Is that it? Judith?
Well, I just want to point out, Doug began a whole bunch of historic sightings going back to 1939. They're all up on our website now. If you're interested in looking at the past, I was telling Mike earlier, I was reading about his father. I read about Gordon's child being born, which was really cool. And then stuff going back to pre-World War II in 1939. So.
Do you know, is it keyword searchable? Like a OCR? By year, okay. That's great. Okay, thank you all to all of our guests who are in attendance. Gordon, yes.
Don't miss events, Laurels for Leaders.
I was gonna say that.
November 22nd?
So let her say it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, the Laurels for Leaders event, the website is up to date now. You can register if you give us, least a $250 donation, you can pick the school that you want to stick with.
And be in the program.
And be in the program, and it's gonna be a great time for the San Diego State. And then the last thing that I wanted to, ask our speaker, Craig, if he would sign our Halloween kids book, that we're gonna donate to some children's library or something.
It'd be great. You have two to choose from, whichever one you think is
Well,
more
I was
relevant.
thinking of Halloween.
Okay, perfect.
I was gonna do Halloween
One to
last
choose, one to
time, but we didn't meet, so Halloween is gonna be good.
Thanks, Craig. Okay, is that a wrap?
I think so.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Yeah.